I thought today I would take a moment to talk about weight loss and more specifically talk about the things that might block us from losing weight. When our doctor says, you need to cut down your sugar, and a lot of people go home with that full intention, I'm going to cut down my sugar. I think the problem isn't their intention, and I don't think the problem is their desire or even their attempt. I think the true problem is that they don't know what they're aiming at, because I think the majority of people are not aware that a carbohydrate is any food that has carbohydrates in it, and a sugar is a carbohydrate. And that I don't think that people understand that, for example, bread is a carbohydrate, high carbohydrate food. Grains, rice, pasta, oatmeal, barley. I don't think most people understand that those are high carbohydrate foods. I don't think most people understand that we're not just talking about cookies and sweet candy and chips. And I don't even know if most people realize that chips are a high carbohydrate food. Again, I think when the doctor says you need to cut sugar out of your diet, people go home and they cut sugar. They stop putting sugar in their coffee. They stop eating cookies. They stop eating cake. Okay, great. But they don't stop eating bread. They continue to eat pasta and rice. They continue to eat potatoes. They continue to eat things that are high in carbohydrates without realizing that they're eating things that are high in carbohydrates. When the doctor says take sugar out of your diet, what he really meant to say is take carbohydrates out of your diet. And in order to take carbohydrates out of your diet, you have to look wider than cookies, chips, and cake. We don't understand what carbohydrates are, and so therefore we accidentally keep eating them in our attempt to eat better. Okay, so then what happens? Well, we're left with what? We're left with eating vegetables that are low starch, low carb. We have a lot of the cruciferous vegetables, the leafy greens, and we have a lot of salads that we can eat. And then, of course, if I've taken out most of the carbohydrates, which is it's a fuel source. So let's look at that for 5 seconds. The other thing that we don't understand is that carbs are a fuel source. So if we take all of the fuel sources out that are carbohydrate and we only leave in vegetables, but vegetables are not as high in carb as bread or pasta, but we need another fuel source. In walks fats. The other problem that I see is that people do not recognize how important fats are when we take out carbohydrates. You can't just take out carbohydrates and not replace it with something. If the major source of your food energy was coming from carbohydrates, and if we stop and think about it, with all the things that I just listed there, how many of those things were you eating on a regular basis? Chances are your major fuel source was carbohydrates. I haven't even started to talk about how bad for your system carbohydrates are in terms of inflammation, in terms of just making people feel really physically ill. Not even to touch on that right now. If we just look at the fact that most of your energy was coming from carbohydrates, and the doctor is telling you to take sugar out of your diet because it's making you overweight, then if I take all of that out of my diet because I'm taking out the carbs, what am I left with? Right? All my energy is gone. I have to increase the fats I'm eating. I have no choice. So at that point, when I start to increase the fats that I'm eating, guess what I do? I actually help myself, right? I have energy. What I need to do is replace my carbohydrates with high quality fats, which would be, for example, the fat that comes along with the protein that I'm eating. So most protein will come with a fat. If I eat an avocado, there's going to be fat in there. If I eat an egg, there's already fat in there. If I eat steak, there's already fat there. If I eat pork, there's already fat there. If I eat salmon, there's already fat there. So chicken, there's already fat there. If I need to add fat, then I need to choose a high quality fat. And that would mean choosing olive oil, choosing coconut oil, choosing avocado oil. And there might be other high quality oils that you can find. I don't know them all. I'm not going to claim to know them all. My point is that you need to do a little bit of research and make sure that these are high quality oils. Here's the thing. In order for this to be successful, I need to allow myself to recognize that there are things that I've been told about food. There are things that I've been told about carbs, so sugar versus fat, that we now know are inaccurate. So, and then because I have this information, I need to understand that I have been set up to have goals in my head that are contrary to my own health. The food we ate is what helps us to maintain our weight. exercise helps us to be strong. I hope this video was helpful because I really hope that it helps you to understand the misconceptions that we have about food. And if we understand them, we can do better. And when we do better, we feel better. Remember, this is about understanding our mind and our body working together so that we have amazing health and wellness. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, because this is the channel that's going to help you to feel better and live a better life.